Hello everyone, it's Dakian here again. Today is Monday the 9th of April 2018 and I have this week actually finished a whole lot of minis. And the ones I'm showing you first here are the ones that have been in the works the longest. It's the Hobgoblins, and in the background we have a GW Wizard. So the Hobgoblins I painted with a lot of red equipment, red clothing. There's a red tint to the armor as well, because the original Monster Manual says that they paint their armor red. I didn't want to go all the way with that, but added just a red tinge to it. And I went for, you know, reasonable tabletop standard quality here. This guy has a bit more color than the others. He's the wizard, or, well, the Hobgoblin Sorcerer. Has a little yellow cap. Let's go with a lot of other stuff. Maybe too many colors, but oh well. And here we have a more armored warrior with the replacement shield. Went with kind of grayish hair on most of them. The ones that have hair. I don't know if his beard maybe blends into the armor a little bit here, but so be it. And here's the final Hobgoblin. He has a lot of stuff hidden under his cloak. He's running forward, and I wasn't really sure if these strips here, maybe this should have been leather, but it looked more fun to paint them a bronze color, so I did. And the wizard, now, there's things I like about this model, how it turned out, the hair and the face, a little bit the orb and the robes. Flames are alright, not fantastic. It's the cloak that I'm not super pleased with my own work here. It's a little patchy. I mean, yellow is a difficult color, and painting it in a more layered style with more care would have been really difficult with the number of folds here, so I've used some speed painting techniques and it shows, I'm afraid. It looks rough. But oh well. You live and you learn. I'm not one to futz over mistakes. You know, some people would look at this and just cover it all up and repaint it. But you know, to me, it's an okay tabletop standard. I'm just gonna note my mistakes, move on, and do better the next time. I don't obsess over every single model. But yeah, these are finished, and there's more finished. Just hang on a second. Not only did I finish those Reaper and GW minis, I finished all of these guys from RBJ games. They kind of jumped the queue a bit. They passed by some other Reaper minis that I started earlier. But the reason I did that was because I thought these were simpler and could be finished faster. And I was kind of right about all the skeletons. I mean, here we have Skeleton Warrior with a sword, or the Standard Bearer with my kind of primitive freehanding of some sort of device. It's supposed to be a green hand with claws on a basically red banner. And here we have the drummer. Yeah. And here we have all the little skeleton schnauzers, the little doggies. And they turned out fine, I think. And they were not difficult at all. Finish just standard skeleton techniques. But then we come to the flame skulls. And the flame skulls were more difficult than I anticipated. See, these came in a clear red plastic. This is a mistake everybody makes for some reason. Even Reaper, they have some Reaper Bones fire elementals. They're in a clear red, translucent red plastic. But Flame is not red. Flame is only red maybe at the tips. Flame is more orange and yellow. So what I had to do here, and it's only partially successful, was to put on multiple coats of first orange and then yellow, and getting it to creep down into the cracks and crevices, leaving the red only at the tops of the flames, was the idea. And like I said, I had to do a lot of coats because yellow and orange paint is transparent in itself. There's no yellow orange paint that covers well that I've found. And so there are multiple layers, and also because I couldn't prime these because they were clear. I mean, I suppose I could have put some matte varnish on it, but anyway, the paint did not. Well, it was difficult to getting paint to adhere. And then I picked out the skull portions in white, first by dry brushing, and then by very carefully going in with a tiny paintbrush and adding some lines. It's still not, I mean, I would have wanted more yellow at the core, like inside the mouth and the eyes. It's be more yellow than red. But the red is very overpowering. It comes through very clearly. Oh well, it's good enough. I mean, you get the idea. You get what it's supposed to represent, and they work well enough. So yeah, that was actually it. How many were that? Let's see, 6, 7, 14, 21, 24 minis. Wow, in 1 week. Granted, a lot of those had been started before, but hey. But as you know, this past week was a week off from work. That's also a reason that I got so much done. I mean, if I had had normal work days, this whole slew of stuff would not have been finished. Just so you don't think I'm inhuman in my painting speed. Anyway, there's other projects still in the works. Let's have a look at them. Well, here we have all the human and humanoid minis currently in the works. As you can see, the ones in the 2 back rows here are the Reaper miniatures that I've been working on the longest. Not much more has happened to them. I've actually spent a little more time on these ladies. I've worked on their hair, mostly. And the staff on this one, and the dagger on this one. I put down a base coat on this dress. It's going to be highlighted up, of course. And here again, the hair. I think the skin on these is next. Actually, I think I'm going to batch paint sort of. I finish the metallics on these guys, and then work on the skin and hair of all of them. That's one idea anyway. We'll see what actually happens. And Popeye there is waiting for me to feel inspired. Over on another part of my desk, I have these 2 Reaper Bones models that have been prime based, and these have gotten some base coats. I used an airbrush paint that I got with my airbrush, not specifically intended for miniatures. It's very, very thin, and it goes on pretty much like a wash. It tends to creep into the crevices. So it doesn't really provide so much base coat as just kind of a tint of the primer. So now I'm gonna start going at it with brush and paint and real work. And oh yeah, this one, the Gorloth, I put it on the flight stand. I masked it off so I don't get paint on it. and added some blue and some green as a base. I don't know if it's going to stay that way. I might lighten it up a lot or darken it. I just don't know yet. If I don't get any good ideas about it, it'll just sit on my desk for a while and wait again for inspiration to strike. So that was them. And finally, the Kraken is not that far along. Done more texture work. Oh, let's see here on the base. Gotta let this dry a bit more before I prime it. Oh, that's that was unintended texture. Didn't want that to. Oh well, I'll scrape that off later. Anyway, I've decided that. So I've assembled this much of the Kraken itself. I'm gonna have to do another sub-assembly here. I need to paint this before I add the tentacles, or at least I need to paint the inside here before I start adding on the tentacles. And that's gonna be tricky because then, okay, and oh yeah, I've lightly primed the tentacles. Because again, I want to do that before attaching them for reasons. So I'm gonna have to try to mask off these little nubs, and so my airbrushing doesn't get on those, because scraping that paint off is more bother than that. And after I'm done, I'm gonna have to attach these and then gap fill and put some more brush on primer, and then paint the tentacles. Yeah, and if I airbrush those, I have to be very careful not to spill onto the rest of the model. Yeah, so complicated. But it's a big kit. They tend to be that way. So that's everything currently started. Let's move on. Another week with no new arrivals. In fact, if you've paid very close attention, you would have noticed that I've actually reduced the number purchased by 2. This is because I've sold off 2 old minis that were duplicates that I didn't want. And I'm working on selling some more, actually. Still waiting on several big orders. But anyway, what's my next project? So I said I would alternate between Reaper and other stuff. And last week I started some Reaper bones. This week it's other stuff. And I'm going to use these 5 models I got from Spellcrow. 2 of which are branded Spellcrow, 2 of which are branded Umberturis, but they're by Spellcrow. And they are mostly humans, with a couple of them are what's called Tigerians. This one and this one, I believe, are tiger people. But the other 3 are human fighters of some sort, mostly, I think. Yeah, fighters or barbarians. And yeah, it's just to try out a new company. I've never painted anything from Spellcrow before, apart from some of their bits. And never any complete minis. And yeah, I'll get started. And we'll see what we will see. That was it for this video. Quite a lot done this week. Not sure if I'll get as much done the coming week because it's back to work. And I gotta work late a couple of days. On the other hand, the weekend should be free. I'm not booked for anything special then. So, probably an average week of work on minis, I think, will be the results. But you never know. You'll just have to check back in a week. Until then, click like, subscribe, comment, share, and I will see you then. This is Dakian, and I'm signing off.